Hey guys, this is Dr. Infantino from Platinum Wellness. One of the biggest questions or challenges my patients face every day is they come in and they say, hey doc, I don't get it. I'm eating right, I'm exercising, I don't understand why it's not working. Why aren't I losing weight? If I'd have done this 20 years ago, I'd been great. And now maybe it's just that I'm getting older, or it's my hormones, or my metabolism slowing down. And what I wanted to share with you today is it's very likely those things, but not for the reason you're thinking. It's not because we're getting older. It's very likely it's because our bodies accumulate imbalances as we age. And these imbalances, what they do is they cause fat storage hormones to become dominant. And this is really important to understand. This is like the key to the whole thing. Because there are fat burning and fat storing hormones. If they're balanced and you eat well and exercise, you trigger fat burning hormones, lose weight, and live happily ever after. The problem is this: if fat storage hormones become dominant, now all of a sudden you can eat right and exercise, and what happens? Yeah, exactly, nothing. And this is where people get really frustrated because they're like, I'm eating chicken and broccoli, I'm going to the gym 3 or 4 days a week, and it's not changing anything. The challenge then is not so much to work harder on burning fat, because what do we do out there? We go, well, I'll do HCG, or I'll do phentermine, I'll eat 500 calories, I'll starve myself. Now, even if it worked, how long can you do that for? So what we do in the office, and what I want to share with you, and you can do this at home too to some extent, is work on decreasing fat storage hormones. So before I draw this out and explain it to you, I think it's important to understand, well, how do we get high fat storage hormones in the first place? There are several things, but in general, the first thing is gut health. If our digestive systems are out of balance, which, let's face it, the majority of ours are, from rounds of antibiotics maybe we had 20 years ago for dental work, to antibiotics that are in our food, white flour, sugar, coffee. And you might not even be doing these things now consistently, but you might have done them in the past and created some damage. That'll cause your gut to try to digest food harder, and bottom line is your pancreas pumps out extra insulin, and insulin's a powerful fat storage hormone. Environmental toxins. Our own EPA says the average American's got about 600 toxins in one fat cell. The reason they're there is our bodies can't get out everything that we're exposed to. So to protect you, it stores it in a fat cell. The problem is you try to pull fat out of the fat cell, leave toxins behind, what happens? The body's like, well, I better dilute that again, so it increases fat storage hormones. Sometimes people have had a period of stress, right? For things like, I don't know, school, divorce, money, you name it, lots of things. Well, that'll cause your body to increase cortisol. Cortisol is a powerful fat storage hormone. So if you end up like this, the answer isn't to work harder and harder and kill yourself. The answer is to restore balance. That's the key to the whole thing. So that being said, what I thought I'd do is go with the first one today, and that is gut health. So let me show you how this all kind of comes together. So your gut kind of looks like this. And inside there, you'd have all these little healthy fibrils called villi. On these villi, 100 trillion bacteria. Now, these bacteria, I apologize, I'm writing upside down, so it looks like I'm in kindergarten, but they are essential. They digest food. They make B vitamins, which give us what? Energy. Which is why, when you go to any kind of weight loss clinic, what's the first thing they want to do? Give you what? Yeah, exactly, B12 shots. Now, if we had these guys back to normal, we could make our own B12. What else do? They lower blood pressure. They lower blood sugar, or stabilize it, I guess I should say. Cholesterol. They actually decrease inflammation. What's inflammation linked to? Pretty much every disease you could think of, right? So it's critical to get inflammation down. Here's a big one most people don't know. They also make serotonin and store about 90% of it. Why do we need that? Well, because that's our happy neurotransmitter, right? A lot of people on antidepressants these days because of a gut imbalance, and they have no idea that's even the cause. By the way, how do you know for sure if you have a gut imbalance? Most people have no symptoms, but a lot of people will have bloating or reflux. They're kind of gassy. They have less than, let's say, 1 to 2 bowel movements a day would be considered normal. Serotonin, by the way, becomes what? Melatonin, which is needed for sleep. So a lot of times people come into me, and besides weight gain, what are some other symptoms they're dealing with from a gut imbalance? Well, obvious ones like I don't digest food well, my energy's low, my blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol maybe is up, I'm inflamed, so I'm like achy, stiff, sore, kind of more depressed, I don't sleep well. Now, what do we do out there normally when we have these symptoms? We go to very well-meaning doctors who do what? They go, well, I'll give you something for any one of those. You could take antacids, you could take, drink more coffee. There's energy drinks galore out there. There's medications for blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol. But what's the answer? Well, in my opinion, it is to actually restore gut health. Because here's what happens. The majority of Americans, instead of having this, if you consider one round of antibiotics will kill about 80% of this, have this muck sitting inside rotting. Now, this is important to understand. Normally, digested food goes into your bloodstream and you get some good nutrition. Well, what do you suppose you're getting into your bloodstream if you have something that's sitting in there rotting? They estimate the average American, if you could even imagine, has somewhere between, I'm going to try to make a 5 upside down, 5 to 25 pounds of undigested fecal material sitting in their gut. Now, if that's rotting 100 degrees for a couple days in a row, what happens? Well, what leaks into your blood now? All sorts of toxic stuff. Now, here's the problem. Your liver, that's obviously a liver, right, has to clean this stuff up all day. In addition to cleaning products, personal care products, all these other things that our livers have to do. But the problem is this, your liver is what? Your only fat-burning organ. So if it's busy undoing this, is it going to want to process and burn fat if you exercise? No, it's like, hey, I got to protect you from this stuff. So we got a problem. The next thing that happens is this undigested food heads downstream to where eventually it meets an organ called, who can guess what that is? Your pancreas. Your pancreas sees this and goes, man, I better help out. So I am going to pump out extra what? Insulin to help digest food. If insulin goes up, that is probably the most powerful fat storage hormone we have. So it's interesting, right? You can eat right and put the best food in the world into a gut that's out of balance, and unfortunately, you'll still store body fat, or at the very least, it makes it a lot more difficult to lose fat. So one of the things we take pretty seriously in the office is really cleansing the gut, getting these villi back, putting the healthy bacteria back. By the way, here's a thing that gets people really frustrated. They'll say, okay, I get that, so I'm going to eat clean, I'm going to take probiotics. You know what, maybe tomorrow I'll do this video where I'll talk a little bit about why probiotics for a lot of people don't work and why they get really frustrated when they do everything right, but they don't seem to get any real traction. I'll give you a hint. It has to do with you have to clean the gut first. At the end of the day, you can put the best healthy bacteria back in, but if we've got more yeast than bad bacteria, even if you put good guys in, you're really just serving up lunch to the bad guys. So the bad guys got to go out while the good guys come back so that you restore normal balance. Then you shut down the pancreas from pumping out extra insulin, fat storage hormones start to go back down, then you get some good food, a little exercise in, fat burning hormones kick back in, they're dominant, lose weight, live happily ever after. I hope that was helpful. I know it was a mouthful. If you have any questions, hey, you could reach me at the office, 602-866-8100. Happy to chat, provide any information, recipes, whatever you might need to help. Have a great day.